tag, they want to track you, and they want to identify who you are. If you are watching these channels, if you are informed, if you are awake on these issues, they want to tag you, they want to track you, and they want to know exactly who you are. They want to know, and it talks about the tracking people's IP addresses through YouTube. They have access to YouTube. They do know who you are. So this is discussed a lot in the documents. I'm just looking through it right now. And there are two projects, and it's very important to listen to this. Project Pogo is one of them, and Project Zypher. I will spell that one. Z-Y-P-H-R. Project Pogo and Project Zypher are the two projects that the classified documents are referring to, and each has a different role. Project Pogo is about the YouTube gatekeepers, how they are all agents. They are all paid to put out truthful information so that they can tag, track, and ID the people that are watching the videos and giving them likes and giving them comments. They're tracking all of it. Project Zypher is a different project, and that's what I'll talk about in a bit. That is the second stage here. That is coming up. And that is the extermination. They're going to exterminate these people, whether it is tag them for anti-Semitic speech.
The president also used his address to condemn a wave of anti-Semitic threats and vandalism in the United States.
President Trump wasted no time talking about Black History Month, the struggle for civil rights, and anti-Semitic acts across the country.
Recent threats targeting Jewish community centers and vandalism of Jewish cemeteries, as well as last week's shooting in Kansas City, remind us that while we may be a nation divided on policies, we are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all of its very ugly forms.
His manager is effing Zionist. This is a person who is calling for basically the destruction of Israel and Jewish Americans. The Trump administration is not going to allow anti-Semitism to exist in this country. And as head of the Department of Justice Task Force, I can guarantee you, Martha, and the American people, we're going to eliminate anti-Semitic conduct. We got marching orders from Pam Bondi, Harmeet Dillon, and President Trump. And that's why I'm here today and telling you that anti-Semitism is not going to happen. And people who want to come in this country on a visa will not be allowed to enter this country if they have anti-Semitic mindset with the intention to incite violence. I want to thank the Secretary of State Department for moving so fast on this, because we were on this over the weekend, Martha, and we sent that letter immediately to the Secretary of State's office this morning at 8 o'clock.
Charged them with crimes.
A national database will be established to track a concerning wave of anti-Semitic crime and behaviour after the surge in attacks across the country. It is hoped the new database will help inform coordinated responses to future incidents.
Doing a Nazi salute will mean jail time in Australia. The country just passed some new anti-hate laws against a rise in anti-Semitism.
Well, the circumstances that we are confronting in our community are so extreme that it requires changes to the law.
Eliminate them completely, and this is where I'll talk about in the documents where they talk about guillotines.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rabbi Shea Harlig for today's opening invocation.
May the Almighty God, who blessed our patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, matriarchs, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless President Donald J. Trump, that he should be safe and successful. May all those who work with him and work to serve this nation be blessed with health, wisdom, courage, and a heart of service. In this moment of prayer, we recognize our shared duty to each other and our country. May we move forward together, seeking to build a future that reflects the will of God and his values based on the 7 Noahide laws that will unite us all together. Amen.
Universal Noahide Code deals with the responsibilities of the individual. Briefly, the Noahide Code, we could spend an hour or days here talking about each law, and it's not just these laws, it governs laws between fellow man. It has to do with how you conduct business, how you say good morning to your neighbor. It has to do with a whole range of laws, visiting the sick, burying the dead, etc., etc.
After the flood with Noah, God gave 7 laws called the Noahide laws. This is the bedrock of any civilization that were to exist. And the Rebbe pleaded, if only the United Nations will go back to the basics and empower their nation to adopt the 7 Noahide laws, then this world would be a very different world.
Under the Affordable Care Act, death by guillotine is an actual inclusion for the use in capital punishment. Just as the Noahide laws were classified under an education bill, death by beheading by guillotine is classified under Medical Code ICD 9E978.
Viral attacks, targeted. How they're going to eliminate these people without too much suspicion, without too many people noticing. But here's the problem. As I read the documents, I can see I have documents from 4 years ago, I have documents from 2 years ago, and then I have documents from 3 months ago. So there's a progression in the timeline as the projects change. And Project Zephyr has changed. In the beginning, they were talking a lot about, okay, we are going to infect these people with a virus that imitates the flu virus. They're going to eliminate them in various ways that would not be suspicious. In the documents I have now from 3 months ago, they are saying the amount of people they have to eliminate is too large. It is too many. We are talking about millions of Americans. And this is where we see their plans are changing. And they are going to initiate something that is devastating and that is extremely frightening. And based on what I can see in the documents, we're talking about power outages along with a purge. They're going to come in, they're going to take you out of your home, and they're going to put you into a military vehicle or whatever, a van, and drive you away and place you into a camp. It is a very, very big operation that they're planning. It is millions of Americans. They will do it under the cover of night, under the cover of blackness, during one of these planned blackouts.
So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
There is only one way this pandemic is going to go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
The blackouts are based on documents. I'm just looking at it right now. They have a 3-day blackout. They have a nationwide blackout that lasts 2 days, and a lot of localized blackouts. So it is a whole series of blackouts that they're going to do. And of course it will be blamed on all kinds of things. They might blame it on Iran. I have seen that mentioned in the documents. They've already prepped people for this. There are going to be more blackouts. They're already predictive programming. So we may see more of this as we go on. As far as I can tell from Project Zephyr, they are planning this next year and the year after. They are not done tagging, tracking, and identifying everyone. It looks like they're at about 78%. I looked in the documents, and there were a couple of indications of how long far along they feel in the project is. They're like 78% done, but they're not completely done. It does take time to identify a YouTube account and then track it to the email that it was created with and then the IP address and then find out who created it. It does take them a lot of time to do that. It is not instant. It does take a lot of research because a lot of people create a YouTube account with an email address that doesn't give any indication of who they are, an account name that doesn't have their full name on it. They don't use their real pictures. So it is a challenge for them, and that's why the project has been going on for so long. But it is coming to a close. In the next 6 months to a year, it appears it is coming to a close, and that is when Project Cypher will be initiated.
Congress shall now vote for approval of H.R. 8791, the Homeland Terrorism Preparedness Bill. Said bill requests emergency response funding up to and including, this section is classified, dollars to prepare for a national level terrorist attack and or attack from classified. Funding for first responder personnel and vehicles would be doubled if said attack leads to more than 80% of national population being affected by classified. This funding shall commence in conjunction with the first attack on classified or the first large-scale outbreak of classified, dependent upon which comes first. Civilian and military units shall be trained in containment and combat of classified, including irradiated classified with possibility of classified airborne, classified flesh-eating, classified, and or all of the above in such event as classified spewing, classified escape, are released or otherwise become uncontrollable. Air Force units may also be directed to combat said classified due to their enormous size and otherworldly strengths. Should event occur in urban areas, that's classified, far surpassing our darkest nightmares. Should casualties exceed classified body disposal actions, shall be halted and associated resources shall be reallocated to classified underground, classified protected birthing centers. New Bill of Rights shall be drafted and approved by classified. Having now reviewed the bill, I ask you to please cast your votes.
So I have some notes here. I'm going to continue on, talk a little bit more about right. They're being tracked. They're being identified. That's the whole point. A lot of people have said, well, why are some of these YouTube channels allowed to exist? Why are they allowed to so openly talk about the truth? And some of you might know Adam Green, No More News, and there are a whole bunch of others, and they're very, very open about Zionism, and they're very honest about it, and they're telling the truth. I mean, they are telling the truth. They're not hiding anything. They're not disinfo. They're not putting disinfo out there. But as far as I know, they are they're all a part of this operation. I can't say specifically if Adam Green is a part of it or not, but I would assume possibly he is. He's probably been guaranteed a lot of money. He's probably been promised a lot of things. He could be a Freemason. He could be a part of their operation. He could be an agent. I don't know. But I have no idea. It is total speculation on my part. I have no idea. All I know is this is part of the operation, what they want to do. His channel would fit into the MO. It is an example I'm giving. He is there to tag, track, and ID.
He is moving very, very fast. First, he's getting the Real ID implemented very aggressively. Real ID, to do a control grid, you need a very high-quality, precision national ID. And he's got Kristi Noem out there pushing the Real ID like there's no tomorrow. The feds are pushing it. The second thing you need is an all-digital financial system. So you got to kill cash, and you got to make everybody interact digitally. He's canceled pennies, but he's also canceled now. You know, normally I pay my taxes with paper, and now he's saying, no, you got to do everything digital. He's trying to, if you go through that list, I've got 50 different items of what he's doing. If you think this is improvement, you have another thing coming. This is going to be the digital equivalent of the pallets of cash sent to Iraq. You're literally going to tender for the global population try and get everybody off of their local currency into stable coins, and you're going to pump out massive amounts of private credit to make it really attractive.
And you don't think the BRICS would try to compete with this?
I think as soon as you pass the Genius Act, it can go very, very fast. You could really see the world rock. Trump and Musk are implementing the control grid at high speed. To do a control grid, we need a digital ID implemented that's very high quality, high precise. Check the box. We need an all digital financial system. Check the box. You know, we need a way of doing interoperable money. Check the box. We need a social credit system. To me, I want to build a social credit system that can be used to enforce control against the American people and basically lock them down with both enforcement and social credit. I would privatize it. I would just take it and put it in private AI with XAI and Palantir AI.
Toten CD Juden. Wir können nichts dir in Bistad durchstehen. Es ist Zeit voran. Wir müssen die Juden aufhalten. Es ist Zeit bereit. Wir müssen die Juden aufhalten.
End Illuminati on Telegram has been banned by Apple and Google. Join our members only and discover what they don't want you to know.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Good.